witnesses. We just got a few more, but these are very important members, great people, and we're going to go now with the gentlelady from Wyoming, Ms. Hageman.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone for being here. I represent the state of Wyoming. There are 560,000 people in my state. I grew up outside of a town of 350 people. I currently live in our largest city of 60,000 people. I want you to know, Mr. Alba, Ms. Harrison, Ms. Brame, Mr. Bergen, we pay a lot of attention to what goes on here. Mm-hmm. We know about you. When I read about your situation, Mr. Alba, and what happened to you the next day after it happened, I prayed for you. I prayed for your family. As I read the testimony that you have provided to us today, it makes my heart break to know that you, as family members, have gone through something so devastating. But to make it even worse, our criminal justice system has treated you so poorly since you have gone through these things. I will tell you, it has been interesting to listen to you talk about your loved ones, talk about the fear that you faced with this situation, Mr. Alba, the loss that you're still suffering from 18 years later after losing your loved one, how much love you have for your son, how much love you have for your son and your family and your community. And I do want you to know that we're not here for grandstanding. We're not here for anything other than the fact that we're recognizing that across the country, there is a sickness pervading our communities that is destroying who and what we are. And it's not just about guns. I watched you, Ms. Fisher, as you secretly smiled at some of the Congress members on the other side, as people on our side talked about the gun issue. I understand you believe that it is an inanimate object that somehow can create or cause the mass shootings, that it's not the individual. One of the things that has struck me today is that as we talk about these mass shootings, nobody has talked about the drugs that these people were on. Nobody has talked about the psychology of this. We just had a woman shoot and kill 3 young children and 3 teachers, and yet no one has talked about what kind of drugs she may have been taking, what kind of psychosis she was suffering from. Clearly she was suffering from a psychosis. She claimed that she was a boy when she was a girl. We have to be looking at those kinds of things. It's not the guns. It's what we're teaching in school. It's the rot in our culture. It is the fact that we are losing our society because we're unwilling to recognize that there is evil, and when there's evil, we need to address it. When someone does something to your family members that is illegal, we need to take them off the streets. We don't need to try to figure out what may have happened in their background. If they've done something, if they've stabbed a beautiful young man as they did your son, they need to be taken off the street and they need to be punished. We need to protect our law-abiding citizens, and we need to protect our communities. We also need to protect our police officers. Mr. DeGiacomo, the thing that has struck me as I listened to the testimony is the fear that I have, and you were just speaking with it a moment ago with my colleague, Mr. Moore, about the impact that this is having on our law enforcement officers. And you said something that was extremely jarring, which is it's a dying profession. And what that means is we're heading toward anarchy and lawlessness. When I was driving in last night from the airport, what struck me as I drove down the streets of this city that I love, I've spent a lot of time in New York City. Coming from Wyoming, I love this city. But what I started seeing out the window was almost an Escape from New York feel. We don't want our big cities to die. We don't want to lose the culture that we have here. We in Wyoming love New York. We love Portland. We love Austin, Texas. We love these places. They're part of our culture and the fabric of our society. But we have to address the fact that there are people who are willing to kill and stab and hurt other people. And it is the responsibility of our law enforcement and our prosecutors to make sure that they can't hurt anyone else. With that, I want to tell you there have been many times today that you've been called victims, and I don't see you as victims. I see you as very, very brave people for being willing to come in here today and tell your story and make sure that everybody in this country knows your names and knows the names of your family members. With that, I yield back.
Well said.